guys, so welcome to this week's Alan's Pull List section of the Coffee and Hero Show, a little later than usually advertised. Pretty busy couple of days, lots going on, which you will find out more and more about in the next few days as well. But yeah, just going to take you through the my pull list this week anyway. So again, there's obviously other titles beyond what I've got here, but these are just the main ones that stick out to me certainly, and what I'm looking forward to reading. So we're kicking things off with Batman: The Adventures Continue, Season 2. We're on the issue 4 of this. This should have been released last week. I'm sure I don't need to tell you why again and again and again and again why it wasn't. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to this. I love the animated adventures comic. It's done in the real spirit of the show. You can hear the voice acting in your head as you're reading it. Next up we have Batman Reptilian. Again, this is an issue that we're up to issue 4 as well. This is one that we don't have an awful lot of spares of, simply because so many copies arrived damaged. So again, we're waiting on top-ups to that. So hopefully they will arrive before too long. Next up is Batman vs. Bigby, A Wolf Made in Gotham. So this seems to be the start of bringing back Fables. So you've got Bill Willingham involved, who's the original Fables creator. So it looks like, as ever, you want to get something a bit more attention in comics, pair it up with Batman. And then Fables will be coming back sooner rather than later. Next issue of Checkmate. I've been digging this. This is the Brian Michael Bendis, Alex Maleev spin-off from Event Leviathan. And yeah, that's really, really good stuff. Next up is one I'm looking forward to this week. Is definitely up there, very high for me, which is Deathstroke Inc. For the very simple reason it's Joshua Williamson on writing duties. You've also got Howard Porter on art, so I think that's a great team. And anything Joshua Williamson touches at the moment, I am on board for. Next up is Justice League. Justice League goes a bit up and down for me, I have to admit. Brian Michael Bendis' run, sometimes it's great, sometimes it reads really badly. But the Justice League Dark backups are always fantastic. So Rambi continuing with those, and Sumit Kumar on art. Next volume of Legends of the Dark Knight, which of course is the anthology series for Batman. So different story usually every issue, apart from the first 3, which were all Derek Robertson. But I think from here on in, they're always going to be one shot. So this one's written by Brandon Thomas. So it is issue 5, I believe it's to do with Calendar Man. Another one that should have been out last week, but the release schedule can be a bit all over the place for DC sometimes. Certainly this side of the world. And we've got Nightwing. So we're up to issue 84. This could be a jumping on point for people for numerous reasons. One, it's a Fear State tie-in. So if you're reading Batman but not Nightwing, it's a good time to jump in. But also 83, the previous issue, was the end of the previous arc. So this is the start of a new storyline involving Nightwing. So if you're not on Nightwing, get on Nightwing because it's fantastic. Next up, Superman, Son of Kal-El, Tom Taylor, John Timms. This, of course, is their Jonathan Kent Superman story. Clark is leaving Earth, which I believe happens in this week's Action Comics, leaving Jonathan in charge of Earth and therefore trusting him. So, great series as well thus far. Next up, we have Wonder Woman Black and Gold. So this is the Wonder Woman anthology series. It's up as far as issue 4. I always go for the variant covers in this just because they tend to be beautiful, but the cover A is actually really class as well. Amazing Fantasy up next, where as far as issue 3, Carrie Andrews, you know, just sort of a different imagining of the Marvel Universe. You've got Black Widow in this, you've got a World War era Captain America, you've got Spider-Man, the Black Widow's Red Room Black Widow. Really enjoying that, and again, it's nice to jump into series like that where you don't really need to know an awful lot around it. You can just jump straight in. Final part of Extreme Carnage this week. Phil Kennedy Johnson is back to see this one out, so part 8 of 8. This is Extreme Carnage Omega. So I've dug that enough so far. It was a worthwhile read. Some good horror moments. Next up is Inferno, which is the beginning of the end, I suppose, for Jonathan Hickman's X-Men run. This is Valerio Schiti on art, and this is going to be a 4-parter, and this is going to, I don't know if it's necessarily going to bring an end to Jonathan Hickman's run, but it's certainly going, he's leaving it, but whether he leaves it in a position where someone just continues on or resets it, we're not too sure at this point. The slowest non-stop title of all time, issue 5 we're up to now with this. Joe Kelly, Chris Bacallo, Corey Smith, Non-Stop Spider-Man issue 5 though. I believe that's actually going to continue. It was originally a 5-issue miniseries, but not 100%. Next issue of Thor hitting this week as well. Always a good week. New Thor, Donny Cates of course writing at the moment. Great cover. What more can you say? Always goes close to the top of the pile, Thor for me. Next up we have the United States of Captain America. Again, another title that should have been out last week. Again, arrived with those badly damaged issues. So we're continuing on with Christopher Cantwell's sort of exploration of what it means to be Captain America in a country as divided and diverse as America. you know, Captain America means different things to different people. A very welcome return this week from Matt Fraction and the Dodsons, which is Adventure Man. Absolutely love this series. There was four issues kicked it off. This is issue 5. The 4 issues were collected in a really cool hardcover, actually oversized hardcover. But this is brilliant. Great storytelling, confident storytelling, really cool heroine to root for, and a really cool world that they're setting up there. Another title of the game we have sparing copies of is Berserker. So we're at issue 5 now. Again, a lot arrived damaged. So again, I'm waiting on issues coming back for that. But this is issue 5. Issue 4 was the end of the first story arc, and it's actually come out in trade paperback this week, issues 1 to 4. So if you want to jump into the Keanu Reeves steered world of Berserker, now's a good time to do it. Another return to the main core title is Crossover. We had issue 1 to 6, which was the first story arc. We had issue 7, which was the Chip Zdarsky pen-centric issue. And now we're back to Donny Cates and Jeff Shaw, so kicking off a brand new era for Crossover. Next up, we have Department of Truth. So we're issue 13 now, so I believe this is... I suppose Department of Truth doesn't really have arcs in a way, because there's been 2-issue storylines, there's been 1-issue storylines, it's all part of one grand narrative, but because they're investigating sort of different conspiracy theories, sometimes the issues feel like a one-shot. But I believe at the end of issue 12 will be the end of the second arc in terms of collection for trade paperbacks. So we're on to issue 13 now, James Tynion IV and Martin Simmons. The end of an era for a great title, something that has meant a lot to us in stores, something that we've promoted a lot and got a lot of people enjoying, is Die. We're now at issue 20, the final issue of that. So Kieran Gillen and Stephanie Hans. A few more indies just to tell you about. Next up we have Echolands, which, yes, I am showing you this the right way. Echolands is this great landscape comic from J.H. Williams III. The first issue, art-wise, was among the best-looking issues this year. And this format really suits it. We do have a couple of copies of number 1 back in stock as well. And now we're up to number 2, which is out this week. Another one starting a new story arc, so to speak, is Good Asian, the porn-star Pishy Show, Alexander Tefanegi, crime set noir in Chinatown, the 40s. And the cool thing again this week is that the first trade is out of Good Asian, so covers issues 1 to 4, and then we're jumping on issue 5 with that one. Next up from Vault Comics, we have Human Remains. I seem to remember pushing this a little bit on the previews pod. Peter Milligan writing, who's one of my favourites at the moment. And again, we're into some horror stuff, as you always are with Vault. Out of Body, Peter Milligan again. There you go, 2 in a row. This is an Aftershock title I've really been digging, about a guy who's in a coma, but his astral projection is able to communicate with a psychic, and they're trying to solve the crime of who put him there. I'm really enjoying that so far as well. A couple more just to finish off with. We have Parasomnia from the busiest writer in comics, Colin Bunn. Andrea Muti on art, who of course was the artist on Maniac of New York. And again, this is your dual set narrative. You can see that there's actually 2 narratives going on at the same time, both bleeding into each other. Second Chances, again, this should have been out last week, again, damages. But this is issue 2 of this. I dug the first one. It's all about a guy who can give you a second chance at life. He can create a new identity for you, get you, he's sort of a fixer, if you will. And it was a very noir set issue, and really, really enjoyed that. Speaking again of end of arcs, we have the end of arc 4, which was basically the Erica Slaughter origin story, I suppose, from James Tynion IV and Werther Della Dera. This brings to an end book 4. Very soon, House of Slaughter, the spin-off series, will be launching as well. But that's going to be the end of that, and then you're going to have the trade not too far behind. And then final issue for me this week is Undiscovered Country. So we're up as far as issue 16 for Scott Snyder, Charles Soule, and Giuseppe Camuncoli's epic. So yeah, that is my pull list this week. Again, there's stuff that's not on there that I'm not reading, but stuff came out this week. You know, Amazing Spider-Man's out this week, Darkhawk's out this week. What else we got? We've got some new Star Wars in this week. There's Wolverine this week. So there's still plenty on top of what's on my pull list, but that's just the things I'm looking forward to most. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope it proved useful as ever. Drop us a message if there's anything you need held over or anything like that. We'll always do our best for you. And I look forward to seeing you in store. So take it easy, guys.